What we're going to talk about today is knowing when conditions are bad and patiently sitting on your hands, having that discipline and waiting for markets to heat back up again. When you see across the board that everything is failing, you're not seeing breakouts, you're seeing lackluster volume in a lot of these stocks. Back right here, this was New Year's Eve. Now we go into a new year. It's the first trading week of a new year. Look at the volume completely die off on this stock, but it's still lingering around, so we keep it on watch. It comes back up and it retries to push back up and break. Just no volume to get it up and going. Even today, it had a few good rips on it, but not enough volume came in to get it going. And then we were just looking at IMMX. This stock popped off on Monday and it stalled out at 850 and crumbled down here to 550. Then this morning we wake up and it's gapping right back up to the area it was trying to break out yesterday. So that gets you excited, like, yeah, this stock came back. We could potentially squeeze up higher because shorts, they're sweating right now. So what does this stock do? Just pulls back, gears up, makes it look like it's going to want to squeeze, but then crumbles and fall apart, and really nothing happened. And when you look back on it, volume is always going to tell the story. Remember, volume, no matter what, volume trumps all. Look at all that volume yesterday pre-market, and then when the market opened, look at all that volume. Now look at the volume this morning pre-market, and then what happened on it today. Just not enough volume to get it up and going. So now we've seen two stocks that could have easily been in play and nothing happened. Failed follow through, failed breakouts. IMMX, NTRB, AMC has been a popular stock recently. That's been getting its butt handed to it. Look at the sell-off on AMC today. So across the board, we're seeing all of these stocks, no follow through. You gotta listen to that and tell yourself, hey, this isn't a market right now to be trading. I should be sitting on my hands. SOPA, this has been getting its butt handed to it the last few days. Sure, we're going to have runners and grinders like Ford grinding up all day nonstop. That's the psychology of there's nothing going on in the markets and everybody wants to trade and make money. So the only stock that's moving up consistently throughout the day, it's going to attract more and more and more volume. People are running into all of these walls and they're going to see Ford keeps pushing up. So they're going to join the party. They're going to hop on the train and continue to ride the trend the whole day. We're going to see this type of action a lot. So remember this, when you are in a slow market or you're seeing failed follow through across the board, watch. One or two stocks are going to pop up and they're just going to grind up slowly all day. Look at all the consistent volume Ford had in it today. Non-stop. That's a lot of volume non-stop. On average, let's see, Ford was putting out 1 million in volume every 1 minute. That's an insane amount of volume. Literally, every single candle had over 1 million or just about 1 million in volume in it on average. So everybody jumps in, they join the trend, and they ride it up for the day. And then once that trend breaks, everybody starts to dump it. But with the float being so high on Ford, it's going to take a lot longer for the reversal to actually happen. Because if you look at Ford's float, they have a massive float. The float on Ford, it's right here. It's a 4 billion float. That's a massively insane big float. So it's going to move a lot different than your low float stocks. Low float stocks, there's a low supply of it. And if you have an insane amount of volume coming into it, the price action can flip on a switch. So think of it like this. The larger that float is, think of it as a bigger freight train. A small float stock like ISIG, let's look at that real quick. If it'll even pull up on here. Yeah. See, ISIG, total float, 1.1 million. So think of that as like a speed train. Something that moves super, super fast and gets people to their destinations really, really quickly. And if you look at the price action on ISIG, might have to scroll out here, but ISIG be having some insane rips on it. From $16 rips up to $21 here. From $19 rips up to $23. And even here, running from $18 all the way up to $30 a share. That's how a low float stock moves. And that's why you see a lot of gurus, they'll focus on these low float stocks because they're easy to manipulate. Versus something like Ford, the float on it is 4 billion. It's a huge freight train. Not just one person or a group of people can manipulate the float or the price action on something like this. It's going to take a lot more to get prices to flip. And that's why they move. Let me zoom in. That's why they move like this. So from 2050 up to $21. That's a 50-cent move there. It looks good with or looks like a big move with the candles, but it's actually not. That's a lousy 50-cent range. It's a massive, huge float. And you could see how long it consolidated for. It consolidated here for a few days, perked up, nice, slow, and steady pullback. Then a nice grind up here, pulls back again, consolidation, and then it really starts to get up and going and just put it all together. Look at every single day how much volume was flowing into this, and look at more and more and more volume just kept pouring into this stock. And that's when it can get out of hand and get huge big run-ups like this, because everybody's jumping on that freight train and it's taken off. So you have to tell yourself, when you're seeing failed follow through, no volume across the board, this isn't a market I should be trading, like I just repeated not too long ago. You'll know when a market is tradable when you look left and right and you see all of these stocks effortlessly ripping up, pulling back, and continuing to rip to the upside. Am I right? And if you think about it, and you're here every single day, you're here every day, Monday through Friday, you're able to put in a couple hours every single day, you're going to see all of these different market conditions. And that's where you start separating yourself from everybody else. And for you guys that have been here for a year or even more, you know what I'm talking about. You've seen things happen over and over and over and over again. The stock market, it's a constant battle between the bears and the bulls. So it's a constant battle with the bulls versus the bears. So for a short time, and it's a cycle and it goes back and forth, you guys, and you'll notice it. For a short period of time, bulls will be in control. And then you'll see these stocks break out, you'll see strength across the board, and then all of a sudden things will flip. And then the bears will be in control. And you'll see a lot of stuff moves, failed follow through, failed breakouts, shorts are attacking, and they're riding the stocks as they fall down, making profit. And then all it takes, and it happens over and over and over again, you guys, all it takes, these shorts start to get overconfident and greedy is what happens. And then a low float stock or something comes along and all of these bears pile in on it, and the stock goes and squeezes and goes supernova parabolic and squeezes out all the shorts, and then things flip, and then the bulls are in control. Right back in control, just like that. And these switches between who's in control, bulls can be in control for a week, then the bears can come in and be in control for 2 weeks. So be paying very close attention to who's in control currently in the markets is very, very important. And with small cap stocks, the Wild West, the stocks that I like to trade, they're not really correlated with the market that much, with your S&P 500, NASDAQ, Dow Jones. Small cap land, penny stocks, stocks from $1 up to $50, anything goes. They do not follow the markets hardly at all. So you could see the SPY crumble, fall apart, and crash. And then you see all of these low float stocks, garbage stocks, just run up effortlessly like $10, $15, $20 in a day. They call it the Wild West in small caps, and that's why I personally love them so much, because they do their own thing. They're in a world of their own. They could do whatever they want. And it's going back to, once again, this is where the more you start educating yourself about the stock market, you guys personally will go off, you'll learn other new things, and then you yourself, you'll start to develop your own beliefs and opinions and speculation about the stock market and day trading, and you'll start taking these turns where your opinions and beliefs will be different than mine. And I know what I believe in, and I stand for what I believe in when it comes to trading, because I know it works, and it works for me. I've said it time and time again, and it may be different from other people out here, but when it comes to trading these indexes, it's super hard, you guys, super hard. When you think about it, and these are my beliefs and opinions, you have the whole world focused on these indexes. Japan, they have their own market. China, they have their own market. Australia, they have their own market. The United States, we have our own market. And it just so happens in the world, the United States market is the most popular market in the world. So when the markets close here in the United States, they could be just opening over in China. In China, they have all of their own indexes and sectors and whatnot. It's a gauge to analysis, and financial people use these gauges to see how well their economy is. So every country has their own. And with the whole world focused on these indexes, you have the whole world against you, right? That's the way I look at it. More people equals more problems, as the famous saying goes. You're going to have so many different trading beliefs, opinions, insane volume. trading strategies, algorithmic trading, hedge funds, trading these indexes, you're with the big boys. This is the hedge funds, your institutions, banks, your billionaires, they all trade these. Not us, guys. I mean, it is possible to trade these, but you're going to run into a lot of randomness. You are. Because it's just so many butting heads and opinions battling with each other. You could run into the most perfect setup in these indexes, a textbook pattern setup, and it just go against you. And it'll mess with your head. It truly will. The only time I've noticed is the best time to trade these indexes is it when there is a shock, when there's a market shock. So if the Feds meet, we all know the Feds meet up every month, right? On a Wednesday. So right when the Feds start talking, usually the indexes start to perk up and they'll shoot either up or they'll shoot down. Or if they put out any big news, like you guys remember when Trump last year announced he had coronavirus. What happened? The markets across the board gapped down super huge that morning. Futures crashed. Those are called market shocks. Anytime you have a big news release or anything drastic that happens that shocks the markets, that's an opportunity. That's the only time I would look to trade the indexes. So you're gonna, my personal opinions and beliefs, guys, stay away from trading indexes. You're only gonna stress yourself out. It's true. And I don't get it when new people come in here and they disregard what I say and then they go off and then they consistently lose trading these. And then it's like, dude, I told you, why don't you understand? But we all perceive things differently, right, guys? We all see opportunity in different places. And if you can consistently pull money with the belief system that you have, then that's all that matters. You shouldn't even really care what I have to say, right? As long as it works for you, and that's all that matters. So let's jump into, real quickly, psychology. Now, when it comes to psychology, you guys, I took a catalog of a few books that I feel are must-read books when it comes to psychology. Now, when you go to Google and you type in day trading psychology books, you have all these different books that are going to pop up, and most of them are just irrelevant. They're pretty much, I would say 80-85% of the books on this page here are just rewritings and other people's twist on original work that somebody else did. So with that being said, I took a list, I wrote it down for you guys, and we're going to go through the pictures. These are the top psychology books that I feel are good starters for you guys. You guys should obsess over these books, reread or re-listen to these books multiple times, because everything that you need are within these books. And then once you start mastering these books, then you can start branching out and you can start getting into more deeper psychology and emotional intelligence, human nature books that are out there. So first up on the list, a good starter, I think, is, I gotta bring it over, The Daily Trading Coach. You guys are going to see a lot of people talk about this book and bring it up. It's by the popular author Brent N. Steenbarger. He currently works at SMB Capital. He's one of their I can't even say it, psychology mentors there. Brent N. Steenbarger, he's a great dude. And what's really good about this book is you have to do it correctly. This book isn't meant for you to sit down and read chapter after chapter after chapter. That's not how Mr. Steenbarger written this book. If used properly, this book can be very powerful. And what you got to do, and the way he has it set up, is for you every day is to read one daily little quote from this book. That's it. So every day, let's say before the markets open, you take a moment for yourself, 15 minutes, and you read a section out of this book every day, and then you think about it and you sit on it. Let your mind absorb it. That's the way that this book was written. So there's 101 lessons for becoming your own trading psychologist. And I feel that this is a very must-own book for day traders. And if used correctly, like we just talked about, this book can open your mind and take you places. The next book, and these are going to be in no order, guys. These are all just must-read books. And these are the main books that I would say you really should just obsess over. Reread them over and over and over and over again. That's why I would go the audiobook way if you're not much of a reader. I have to force myself to read books. So I find myself, I always try to see if they have the audiobook. That way I could just, every morning when I wake up, I can put the audiobook on my phone and just listen to the audiobook as I get ready for the day. The next one here is Trading in the Zone by Mark Douglas. You can find this audiobook for free on YouTube. There's a few people out there that have it. It's a super long audiobook. It's around a 9-10 hour audiobook. But this is something you re-listen to, reread over the course of your career multiple times. And that's one thing I think a lot of people really fail at, you guys. When it comes to day trading and this, a lot of newer people that come into this, they feel like they want to rush through and read through the book once and then they're done. They can move on to something else. When we've talked about before, you guys, when you read a book, your brain only obtains maybe 8 to 10% of the information that's in that book. So you could reread this book 10 times and learn something new every single time you read it. So with these books, reread them, take a break, come back to them down the road. These are books you revisit over your career over and over and over again. Here's another one that they also have on YouTube, audiobook. It's Trading for a Living by Dr. Alexander Elder. This one, it's around a 14-hour audiobook, if I'm not mistaken, on YouTube. But just so you guys know, this is out there for free for you guys on YouTube. Trading for a Living and Trading in the Zone have always been up and posted as audiobooks for as long as I've been around. So they're always readily available for you guys. So this is another fantastic book that I would most definitely revisit over and over and over again throughout your career. We got a couple more books here. It's not going to be a huge list. This is a very, very underrated book. And I believe this is the last book. I might be wrong, you guys, but this may be the last book that Mark Douglas has written. As you know, unfortunately, Mark Douglas, he's not with us anymore. I think he passed away to cancer back in like 2010 or something. But he has a lot of work out there for us to absorb, and he contributed a lot to the trading community. And what I really like about Mark Douglas really opens my mind. He opens up my mind better than Brent Steenbarger, better than Van K. Tharp, Alexander Elder. Mark Douglas really, I like the way he speaks and he puts things into perspective. And for me, he opens my mind. That's why I really like this guy. I've always gravitated to this dude. He just makes sense to me. There's a lot of people out here, guys, to learn psychology from. And I'll hear people out there throw out names and YouTube channels. But for me, this is a real touchy subject for me personally, you guys, because I don't really want to trust just anybody to teach me about psychology, emotions, beliefs, because these are some deep rabbit hole stuff that can change and impact our personal lives. So I want to go about it the right way and be pretty strict on who I open my ears up to when it comes to these subjects. And it's almost like, religion in a way, because you're learning more about yourself and who you want to become to be as you dig into this stuff. So the Disciplined Traitor, I actually bought the hardcover of this book. There is no audiobook out there on this. Fantastic book, you guys. It's a must own. And beautiful work by Mark Douglas. The last one, Super Traitor by Van K. Tharp. This book, you guys, changed my life when I read this book. You guys have heard me mention this book a few times before. A fantastic, amazing book. And just like Mark Douglas, this book in particular, this has got to be my favorite by Van K. Tharp. I did read his other books. They're not really that great, in my opinion. But this book is fantastic because it opens your mind. It gives you different perspectives, makes you think, and really opens your mind to what it's really all about in this game of day trading and why so many people fail. It really opens your eyes and all these light bulbs start going off and you're like, now I start to understand why all these people fail. It's clear as day. It's just they don't put in the work, they don't continuously work on themselves. And I seen a picture the other day on social media and it made me laugh. I think it was like from Theo Trades or something. But the caption was, you know you're a trader when you compare everything in your everyday life to day trading and risk management. And I laughed about that because it's true. Once you start obsessing over day trading and the stock market, and I laugh about this with my girl, when I'm out driving and on the highway and I see people that have road rage or I see people that fly by me on the highway, they're in a rush, I always, and it just naturally hits me like that person would be a horrible trader. They don't have no patience. They're swerving in and out of the lanes without using their turn signal. And by driving as well, and I know it's weird, but I'm chill, I'm relaxed, I'm in no rush. I take my time when I turn, And all of this stuff carries over into your trading, guys, believe it or not. It's called good practices. So these are my top priority books, you guys, when it comes to psychology and day trading. And obsess over these books, like I've said, over and over and over again. Because that's all you really need in this, you guys. And then once you obsess over those books and you get a lot of it down, then you could start going off and you can start branching out on all of these other psychology books that dig deeper and further, like Market Mind Games. I didn't really care for this book, but a lot of people did enjoy this book, Market Mind Games. And there's a handful of other really deep and good psychology books out there, even if it's not related to the stock market and trading. Let me name off a couple here at the top of, I'll go into my video or my audiobook library. So you got High Performance Trading. That was a good audiobook. Here's one, Dark Psychology Secrets. Right here. Dark Psychology Secrets. Learn usage and defense techniques of manipulation, persuasion, emotional influence, mind control, and covert NLP. See, guys, we're the 10%. If you're into this stuff, you dive into it, you learn about it, and you learn how to use these tools, that's where you get your edge and you see things differently than everybody else in the markets here. Because most people come into this, and I'm always looking for new titles for my videos, and I always look at auto-generated titles for my videos, and most of the time it always tries to make me use a beginner's guide, day trading techniques. And I'm seeing all of these new people out here, all they're focused and worried about, you guys, is learning these chart patterns, wedges, triangles, when to buy breakouts. I mean, they won't even put in the effort and the work to learn about the details of the candlesticks, right? They won't actually sit down and learn all of the different candlestick combinations, formations, patterns, the different candlestick types. They won't even bother to learn that type of stuff. So the more that you guys educate yourself on this stuff, the more edge you have over everybody else. And that's the sad reality of it, you guys. Nobody has that work ethic. Nobody. They don't want to study. And that's why so many people fail. I've put all of the resources out there for you guys. It's out there for you guys. It is. Even going into down here, look at this. I have over 14 different trading DVDs in here for you guys. All from Tim Sykes, Investors Underground, all this stuff. So it's right out here in front of your guys' faces. You just have to put in that time, absorb it all, study it, break it down. I really wish I could open up your guys' heads and pour all of this knowledge into your head and you'd be all set. But you have to put in the work and the time. You have to obsess over this. You have to. I'm telling you guys, you do. Then once you get into your year 4, year 5, you don't have to study like this no more because you know it all. Do you think I study all of this stuff? Candlesticks, chart patterns? No, I don't study this stuff no more. This is all beginner level stuff. And once you learn it, you don't ever have to revisit it, you guys. It's like riding a bike or learning how to ride a bike. Once you learn all this stuff, it's with you forever. That's why it's so crucial when you're brand new to this, you guys. I preach absorb as much as you can because your mind is like a sponge and you're going to take in everything and you're going to remember it. It may all feel like it's in a cluttered mess in your head because you're learning all of this stuff and so much of it and so fast. But trust me, down the line, all the lines are going to start connecting to all of these areas that you're learning. And all of these different light bulbs are going to start going off in your head. And you're going to be like, ah, okay, I got it now. All right, that makes a lot of sense. So all of this stuff in here, you guys, it's out here for you guys. I've packed this server with education that I feel is super valuable. Absorb it, take it in, study it, obsess over it. Yes, it does get easier due with time. It really does. It gets easier the more you do this. And then you could show up literally every day and you can quickly gauge like the last 2 days. There really wasn't any trading opportunities. And that's okay. I'm fine with that. I'll wait. It's not about how much I can trade every day. It's about patiently waiting for the opportunities to come to me and then being ready when those opportunities do present themselves. Quality over quantity. But all right, you guys, that's going to wrap it up for today's lesson. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'm going to get to rendering this video and publishing it for you guys. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you guys all tomorrow. Later, you guys.